NLP and language, use of quotes, part of the MILTON Model series, Zetetic, NLP and language. I'm going to make 5 general points about the use of quotes and give you 6 examples of the use of quotes. Then I'll remind you of the Zetetic rigor model. My first general point is this: quotes are actually little stories, tiny little stories. So what we know and have learned about metaphor also applies to quotes. Secondly, in our other than conscious minds, we can't help but apply anything we hear to ourselves. We can't help but inside go, am I like that? And I think that's quite powerful, isn't it? Everything that we hear, we apply to ourselves. Point number 3 about the use of quotes in general is that if I use quotes, I'm presenting what I'm saying as a message from someone else, not me. And this can be useful to shift accountability from myself to another speaker. Number 4 point is that it's interestingly possible to insult or compliment somebody without being responsible for the insult or the compliment if it's delivered in quotes, as if it was said by somebody else. Right now, in our society right now, social proof, testimonials and so on is hugely important. Sports personalities advertise sports gear, this kind of thing, and it's their personalities are used to advertise that gear. So for example, right now, I'm proud to say that I am wearing the same waterproof trainers as Raheem Sterling. Now, I like that. I think that is part of the appeal of the trainers that I'm wearing. Now I'll give you some examples of quotes. Example 1. Some of the NLP I've learned, I learned from Richard Bandler. And one of the things that he says regularly is, it's never too late to have a happy childhood. I love that phrase, it's never too late to have a happy childhood. But I also like quoting Richard Bandler on that. It's a sentiment that I really agree with, but it's not quite what Elizabeth Pritchard would say. So if I quote it in an NLP context, it's useful that it comes from Richard Bandler, and I'm also able to say something in a slightly different way from the way I would say it. My second example is one I also quote frequently from my dad Phil. And my dad always said, well, life's not fair. And a bit like the Richard Bandler quote really, I can't really imagine myself saying to one of my clients directly, well, you know, life's not fair. It's just not quite me. I just quite wouldn't say it. But I remember the power of the effect of those words on me when my dad said it. It was like the penny dropped inside me. This was when I was a child. I thought, oh no, I am expecting life to be fair and it's not. It just sorted out a whole lot of things for me, that particular phrase. My example number 3 is something that I think is probably used in other parts of the country, but I associate it with Wiltshire, which is where I was born. And the kind of thing that I might say to somebody in a jokey kind of manner is, well, as we say in Wiltshire, that'll learn you. That'll learn you. Now, I would never say to one of my clients, well, serves you right then, what do you expect? That should teach you a lesson. I would never say that. But I'm quite happy to say, in Wiltshire, when I was young, we used to say, that'll learn you. Now, I seem to be on quotes from my childhood, so I just carry on with my mum. My mum, talking about my friend Fiona and holidays, I've mentioned in an earlier video that mysteriously Fiona always had much better holidays than I did. I couldn't really understand this, and I asked my mum about it. And my mum said, it's the way you tell the story. That was pretty penny dropping as well. It's the way you tell the story. Wow, really? I really didn't know that until I heard that. My fifth example, and there's just this one and one more. Who said this? I don't know who said this, but isn't it true that an apple a day keeps the doctor away? Everybody knows that, don't they? An apple a day keeps the doctor away. I don't know who said that first, but of course it's true, isn't it? And then continuing on the family examples, my 9-year-old granddaughter says, when someone's horrible to you, just ignore it. That's pretty useful, isn't it, for an adult to hear from a child? Somebody's horrible to you? Oh, she says, well, what I do is I just ignore it. So when you use these MILTON model examples, remember the Zetetic rigor model, recover information and generate experiential richness. If you like this video, please like it, you know how to do that. Comment or ask a question, I would be delighted. Or subscribe if you would like to.